Karen, thank you so much for chatting with me today about Ayurvedic medicine. I am super excited to be able to share this information with all of my followers and people beyond that. So let's jump right in.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
Oh, thanks. Just tell us in layman's terms, what is Ayurvedic medicine?
Ayurvedic medicine is an ancient healing science. Basically, the premise is to create balance and harmony within the system. It's for disease prevention, health management, and restoring our own intuitive natural balance.
Before, when we were talking about the doshas,
Yes.
and we were talking. I found that fascinating because that then relates to what we put in our body, what we consume, our energy, all that stuff. Take us through the doshas. Take us through how that relates to food. I think people would find that very interesting.
The doshas, basically, there's three dosha categories. One is vata, pitta, and the third is kapha. Basically, they're the energies of the body that create our physical structure. They are what dictates our mindful or behavioral character qualities. So in understanding our natural state or our natural dosha or our dominant dosha, we're able to then prescribe certain kind of protocols that are going to help reestablish that natural state of balance. So we come into this world with a natural balance that's unique to each of us. And through diet, lifestyle, social interactions, and our environment, just the natural daily intake of things, we start to become, we shift away from that natural state of balance. So what Ayurveda is to restore that natural state, because when we have that natural state, we have health. When the times that we deviate from that natural state of balance, that we start creating symptoms that may start benign. Everyone has certain proportions or ratios of each, vata, pitta, kapha. None of us are without some of each. Okay. So basically what the difference is that makes us all unique is that we have different permutations or ratios of each of the doshas. A vata type of dosha physically is a more slender type of body structure. They have a rather harder time gaining weight, so they're very skinny in their bone structure. Their muscle development is rather on the lesser side. Personality-wise, a vata individual in balance will have more of a creative, more of a jovial, enthusiastic demeanor. When a vata person is out of balance, they may start displaying certain kind of character qualities such as instability or anxiety, nervousness, fear. It will kind of drive into their daily structure as insomnia perhaps at nighttime, or trouble sleeping, trouble being comfortable or calm. A pitta type of body structure is more medium framed. They have a tendency for more muscular development. They can gain or lose weight rather quickly. And a pitta type of personality is much more of a leadership. They're more organized, more headstrong. So in balance, they're very, very perfectionists. They tend to be good organized people. They have more tendencies toward heat in their system. So out of balance, a pitta type of person may elicit qualities like anger, or jealousy, or irritability. And that heat in their digestive system will create things like ulcerative colitis, or more digestive conditions that are with loose bowels, or inflammatory conditions. The last is called kapha, and the body type structure of a kapha person is more thick and dense. So you'll see a bigger framed individual. In balance, or when in balance, a kapha person is very loving, very endearing, very the kind of person that you want to hold close to you. Out of balance, they tend to start becoming more greedy and more needy, attached to things. In the physical body, what that will manifest as is more heaviness or mucus in the system, more swelling or retention will happen. So you'll start seeing disease manifestations associated with any of these three out of balance, as well as seeing the good qualities when they are in balance and harmony.
Interesting. Can you touch upon all three doshas and the food that, in general, the food that each dosha should stay away from or should be consuming?
Sure. The idea of Ayurveda is The science is quite comprehensive, but the application on a daily basis is rather simple. Whatever it is that we have as our natural state of balance, we want to uphold it. So if we have things that are aggravated in the system, we want to start influencing or bringing in the opposite qualities. So if we have an understanding to the qualities of the things that we do and or eat, we need to either hold on to those qualities if they're already in balance, or start bringing in the opposite qualities if they're out of balance. So for instance, if a person like a kapha person already has a lot of mucus and perhaps like respiratory conditions or a tendency towards phlegm and cough, what we want to do is not have qualities that are going to be heavy and thick and viscous. Perhaps we want to add into them some more lighter qualities, some more warming qualities, because they already have a cold influence. We want to have things that are going to help scrape and dry out some of that extra phlegm. So the qualities or the food taste that we would enhance in a kapha person would be things that are a little more on the bitter side or the astringent side. We want to stay away from things that are going to be too heavy in nature, too oily in nature, or too cold. So things of that sort. Likewise, for a pitta individual, they already have excess heat in their body. So we may want to add things that are a little more cooling into their system. So in Ayurveda, we use a lot of herbs and a lot of spices that are going to help mitigate or create that kind of balance. Same with their diet and lifestyle, daily practices. We want to do things that are just going to continue to enhance and promote their wellness or their overall state of harmony and balance.
That makes a lot of sense. Because I think my type of system, I'm dehydrated all the time. It's very important for me to make sure that I eat the foods and I drink things that are nourishing and hydrating to my body. And that would fall under what category, what dosha?
Well, so for a Vata individual, the qualities of Vata are more cold and dry and rough.
Yeah.
So we would want to add things that are going to be more lubricating, more moisturizing, more nourishing to the system. So for a Vata individual, we would like to add things that are going to be more warming into the diet. So more cooked vegetables, more cooked foods into the diet. Avoiding things that are going to be too astringent in their nature or too bitter. So for instance, a salad may be good for a pitta individual because they can better handle more raw and cold foods into their diet. For a Vata individual, we'd like to introduce more warming foods, more cooked vegetables rather than a raw salad.
Interesting.
Not to say that anything is an absolute. You know, it's just a matter of bringing things into balance, and then we can modify and include everything in accordance with our environment.
It's interesting because I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to do a raw food diet. And if you don't have the right constitution or the right system, then a raw food diet might not suit you well. That's what I'm hearing.
Right. Initially, it may do wonders. You may lighten up and feel really good. But after a given amount of time, it just depends on each person's individual constitution. And that's what Ayurveda is all about. We do an assessment of an individual. We basically find out their entire history. We do an intake, a thorough intake of their family history, their tendencies, behavioral, mindful, and their lifestyle, what they do in their day, their practices, and how these things are either enhancing their harmony and balance or taking them out of that natural state of balance. And so what we do is we do diagnose processes by looking at their eyes, looking at their skin texture, their hair, their lips, the whole physical trait and characteristic qualities. We look at the tongue to assess further, pulse diagnosis, etc. Sometimes there's a lot more hands-on experiences that will denote some of the imbalances that a person is experiencing, plus the actual interaction of what's going on, what their health concerns are. And then we gather all this information, we understand much more so what their dominant dosha is, and that's how we are able to assemble how to bring an individual back to more balance.
And that's more balance within the body. Now, what does Ayurvedic medicine do for the mind? Because a lot of the times our minds are polluted with bad thoughts, stress, or feelings of, that you're just not good enough, all these feelings that we need to clean out of our head. What would Ayurvedic do in that?
The beauty of Ayurveda is that it is very wholesome in understanding every aspect about the individual. So it is a mind and body and consciousness kind of science. And it's very closely related to yoga in that because it's a mindful practice, we incorporate a lot of things to have more mental clarity. And just like what you said, it's not just what we ingest food-wise, it's every single thing that we ingest via our sensory perception, what we see, what we take in through our eyes, what we take in through our thoughts, through our audio, sensory. So everything that we're taking in is part and parcel to how we have, or are we digesting and assimilating all the nutrition throughout our body. And if we're taking in a lot of clutter mindfully, that's going to absolutely pollute our whole person.
Yeah.
So Ayurveda also incorporates an understanding fully of the mind via meditation practices, pranayama, which is breathing practices, all sorts of daily structures or practices that are going to help to enhance the mind and body in a more harmonious state. We also have a lot of body therapies that are supportive to this process. So, for instance, we do some sorts of sweat therapies where we're doing a detoxification, and we use medicated herbs and oils to help facilitate or enhance that detoxification process.
A question for you. Do you find that people are going less, that are seeing you, are going less to their Western doctors and spending more time in the, you know, the field of Ayurvedic? Are they coming to you for everything now, and then, you know, doing the yoga, doing the meditation, doing the treatments, sitting down with you and doing the diagnostic work, putting the meal plan together? And do you see them then shifting away from having to go to the doctor every time something comes up?
I think there's a little bit of both, actually. Okay. Right now, sometimes I get people at the latter stages when they've already exhausted some failed attempts with conventional medicine. Because conventional medicine is really just dealing more so with the symptoms or the manifestations of the condition, whereas Ayurveda is dealing with the root cause. Yes. So we're going to the underlying core reason as to where the imbalance is coming from, and we're not just taking care of the symptoms or the manifestations that are apparent, but we're going to the root cause so we can strengthen from that place and strengthen the whole system. So a lot of people are coming to me from Western medicine and perhaps using it in conjunction with, but slowly starting to be able to shift away from some of the protocols and enhance much more of the natural journeys or paths towards that natural state of harmony and health.
Yeah, I agree with that. There is a place for conventional medicine. There is, absolutely. But sure. I think it should be the last resort. I don't think it should be our first, step. I think that we should be doing Ayurvedic, and I think that we should be doing, lots of other, they call it alternative, but it should be our first step. We have things backwards here, unfortunately.
Well, here's another beautiful thing. The more that we have our body and our mind in a natural state of balance, the more that we are enabling our body to self-heal. We have a greater optimal chance of self-healing when we are in a state of balance, as opposed to a weaker state where we're imbalanced. We don't have the opportunity within our own system to sort of rehabilitate or restore that natural state of health.
Yeah, very true. Very well said. I agree. Tell me a little bit about your cleansing program that you have going on right now. I'm excited and it sounds excellent, so let's tell everyone about that.
Well, I have a cleanse. It's something that I've comprised for 7 days. I feature it as a group cleanse so that there's a supportive group aspect where a lot of people are just joining together as a community to do the cleanse during the 7 days. It can also be done individually. The most optimal time to cleanse is at the turn of the seasons. The reason being is that, for instance, in this winter, it's cold. We have a lot of the qualities that we actually ingest or take on from the season. So we are part and parcel to nature. So because we have an accumulation of all this thickness and coating and phlegm or mucus or heaviness in the system, we now have to cleanse and detoxify all of that accumulation from our body, from our mind, and we also have to prepare the body to take on the next season to come. So ideally, it's a great time to cleanse during the transitional stages of the seasons. So this spring cleaning or cleansing is an opportunity to do exactly that. It's done through a very wholesome diet, so it's a complete state on the macronutrient profile. It's great with carbohydrates, complex, and proteins and fats. It's inclusive of all the foods for the 7 days, supportive digestive herbs and teas, and some other products that are going to be necessary for the daily regimen practices that are a part of this cleansing experience. Then at the very end of the cleanse, there's a protocol of some herbs that are going to help to actually produce an opportunity to eliminate the toxins from the system. So it's an opportunity to clean the body, lighten it up, and then purify the system by letting it have the elimination process at the very end of the cleanse.
It's so needed. That sounds terrific. And how do people get involved in the cleanse? Do they contact you? Is there information on your site? Is it something then you send them and then you're going to be in contact with them? How does it work?
Well, I'm hosting this cleanse at some different locations, some different yoga studios. My website is www.priyaveda.com, and you can look at the website, find out all the information as to the locations, all the information in detail about what's included in the cleanses. The only thing not included is fresh produce, which will be a list that I will provide as to which produce is best for this particular cleanse, but that would need to be purchased separately.
Okay.
Everything else is all included in the cleanse.
And you send it to them. So you're out in Comac right now in New York, and I'm in the city. So if I wanted to participate in the cleanse, I'd go onto your website and I would sign up. If I had any questions, I could give you a call, correct, or send you an email, and then you'd send me the package that I need in order to participate in the cleanse.
Yes, there is an individual price, so if you wanted to do the cleanse just by yourself, I would send you all the information and have a consultation with you to guide you through the steps and the know-hows of what to do with the cleanse.
Okay.
If you're doing it as a group cleanse on the dates that are given on the website, it includes 2 lectures, one at the very start of the cleanse to introduce all the products and parts of the cleanse and how and why to cleanse. And at the very end, the last day of the cleanse, I will introduce options for the individuals to be able to transition properly back into something a little more regular into their routine while still holding on to the qualities of what they've achieved during this cleansing process.
Awesome. That's amazing. And anybody that wants to participate and they feel a little bit nervous, they have access to you. You'd be available for any questions during the cleanse, and you'd be available. Okay, fabulous.
And additionally, if someone has particular health concerns, so this is a very well overall kind of cleanse for individuals. However, if there are specific health concerns, I'm happy to provide personal care so I can give maybe appropriate supportive herbs for that specific case or person at that time.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, this is terrific. So many people are going to get excited about this. Definitely, I recommend to everyone to contact you or to definitely look at your cleanse. If they have any questions, to give you a shout. But and I've been saying Ayurvedic. I know you say Ayurvedic. It's the
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda.
Yes.
I know it's the Canadian me. I say different things, and people are like, "Oh, I can sense the Canadian." Say it one more time.
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda.
Word Ayur means life, and Veda means to study or to know. So it's really the study or the science of life.
Okay.
So we're learning how to live our life in the most optimal, nourishing, and harmonious manner.
I definitely try to put my best foot forward in that area. Can I pronounce things correctly? Hell no!
You say tomato and I say tomato.
Exactly. I totally agree. Thank you so much. You are
Thank
such
you
a pleasure. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Mwah. And I will talk to you soon.